All right, it is Sunday, December 31st at 3:29 p.m. and I'm basically making this video A, to hold myself accountable, and B, so that I have something to look back on, because there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh my gosh, what should I read? And then I don't know what I want to read, because mainly I'm a mood reader, but I feel like if I had a direction to go, then I could kind of narrow it down a little bit. So this video is going to be 24 books on my TBR for 2024, but they're books that I already have. So I've split them up into categories. I have it here on my phone, and the categories are dystopian, self-help, romance, fantasy, classics slash like academia, and books that were gifted to me. And then I have a few honorable mentions for the end. So basically all of these books are books that I've had for a while. Most of them are books in like a series, like different series, but that I've already started and haven't finished, or that I want to start and finish. I'm gonna kick it off with dystopian because I think that that'll kind of be where I start in the new year, because I'm in the middle of reading the Hunger Games series, so I'm gonna want to finish that, and that's as dystopian as it gets, really. So we've got Catching Fire, which is my current read right now, but I'm definitely not gonna finish it today. So Catching Fire, Mockingjay, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That's like the first set of books. And then the next one is, I actually started off this year reading the Shatter Me series. I don't know why I didn't finish. That's a lie. I do know why. I started it during last winter break, and then school started before I finished the series. And as soon as school starts, there goes all of my time to read. So I finished off on the fourth book. I have Shadow Me, Define Me, Reveal Me, Imagine Me, and Believe Me left. So what I have left of the Shatter Me series is 2 of the full-length novels and 3 novellas. So I'm really excited for that because I love the series, and I feel like so late to the party with these things. Just they never were a part of what I read when I was younger. It was like very strictly, I mean, I did read Divergent, but I didn't love it. Reading when I was younger was like very strictly like YA fiction, YA romance, YA fantasy, but never really dystopian. All right, it's 3:58. I'm back. I had to take a little commercial break because the SD card ran out of battery and then I got thirsty. So we're back with a Sprite, and we're moving on to the next category, which is self-help books. Obviously, with the new year, I feel like everybody wants to set resolutions, kind of figure out ways that they're going to grow, what they're going to do in the next year. So creating this category was a no-brainer. The only bad part is that self-help books and me are just not compatible, I don't think. As in, I've never finished one. I always get bored. I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. I think, though, what I'm going to do differently this year is not approach it like any other book where I can just sit down and read it in like one sitting or two. I'll do like a chapter a day and like not push myself further than that, because if I do, chances of me finishing them are slim pickings. But anyways, first we've got 101 Essays to Change the Way You Think. I feel like that's a pretty classic self-help book. I see it everywhere. It's supposed to be really good. Everything I Know About Love, which I think is like part self-help, part memoir, if I'm correct. But it's also another one that I see everywhere, so I'm hoping it'll be good. Atomic Habits, a book that I've had for so, like I've had this book for, since before COVID. I've had this book forever, and nothing. And the last one is like a financial literacy one, and it's Rich Dad Poor Dad. All of these are really popular ones in the self-help, well, Rich Dad Poor Dad is more financial literacy if anything, but in that kind of genre bracket. Moving on to my personal favorite, romance. So we've got 5 books in this category. We're gonna kick it off with Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I feel like this one's all over Book Talk. So is Emily Henry, pretty self-explanatory. I think the only book that I've read of her so far is People We Meet on Vacation, but I have Beach Read, Happy Place, and Book Lovers. I just have not read them yet. The next one is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I read Icebreaker, loved Icebreaker. I love a hockey romance. I am a hockey romance girly. Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I've read Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. I loved them both. I love her style of writing, the characters that she makes. I love that they're all women in STEM. I love that she herself, the author, Allie Hazelwood, is a woman in STEM. Then we've got An Awfully Big Adventure, which is a book that came to me via Instagram. Like, I saw so many reels about this book from the author. So many reels about this book that I finally caved and was like, okay. And I got the book, but I didn't read it. And I really want to, because I swear I followed the author after I saw like 15 of the reels, because I was like, I might as well. So I continually see the reels still, but I'm always like, but I haven't read it yet. And last but not least, The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which is one that I also saw on Instagram. I thought this is so cute. It's supposed to be like Gilmore Girls vibes. I believe the author's last name is Gilmore. And I had actually been ready to buy it. It was in my cart and everything. And then I came here to my great grandma's house, and my aunt, she works at the airport, and sometimes after a while, if books aren't claimed, she'll bring them home so that I can look through them and see if there's any that I want. And that she brought that book, and I was like, oh my goodness, I was just about to buy this. So that's definitely on my list for next year. I'll read it in the fall. Moving on to fantasy, very short genre. I love fantasy, but there's only so much of fantasy that I can take. The world building can sometimes be really hard to get into, and I honestly find that it can be draining to me at times. But I don't think it was this year, I think it was in 2022, read Caraval by Stephanie Garber. So in this category, I have Legendary and Finale so that I can finish out that part of the series. But I do know that the Once Upon a Broken Heart, I think it's just a duology right now. I'm not sure if it's made it to trilogy. Has also come out, and I see those reels all the time, and I really want to read them, which is kind of why I want to kickstart finishing Legendary and Finale. So those are my two fantasy picks. We're going to move on to the classics / academia, and for that genre there's only 2 books. There's a list of classic books that I really want to read and get through, and I feel like Little Women is a perfect place to start. I also have this thing where I can't watch a movie until I've read the book, and the Little Women adaptation that just came out, I want to say a few years ago, with like Emma Watson and Timothée Chalamet, I really want to watch that movie, and I can't until I read Little Women. That secured its spot in the classics section. And then the other one is The Secret History, which I know is technically not a classic right now, but I think it's well on its way to be a classic, the way that I see reels and like posts about it. But anyways, that's why I made this genre classics / like academia, like dark academia, because I feel like The Secret History is definitely a book that a lot of people would classify under like a dark academia book. So then we're going to move on to books that were gifted to me. So I'm really lucky to have some really great friends who love to read, and they've gifted me some of their favorite books or just like surprise books. There are 3 books in this category, and they were gifted to me by 2 of my best friends respectively. So 2 of them come from my best friend Natalie, and then the other one from my other best friend Shelby. So the books that were gifted to me by Natalie that I'm going to read this year are 11 Birthdays and My Life in Pink and Green. These are books that I used to see in the Scholastic Book Fair when I was younger, and Natalie gifted them to me. I've yet to read them, and I feel really bad. They're like literally children's books, so I should be able to get through them super fast, like literally in a couple hours. But I did want to make a point of putting them on this list so that I'll hold myself to it later. And then the third book is actually a part of Shelby's Christmas gift to me this year. It's a book called Talk Santa to Me, and wait, I'm going to go get it. So the book is called Talk Santa to Me, and it's by Linda Urban. This was my book mail gift for Christmas from Shelby, and like the super, oh my goodness, I don't want to get up again, but it's like the cutest little snowball magnetic bookmark. But obviously today is the last day of December and Christmas has passed. I'm very much a mood reader, and I also like the symmetry of like reading like fall books in the fall and like winter books in the winter, so I will be waiting a year to read this, which I told Shelby and she was fine with. And now we're going to go on to the last category, which is honorable mentions. So I wanted to make this 24 books on my TBR in 2024 because that's like super cute, and like 24 books in 2024. But obviously my TBR spans longer than my life expectancy, so I do have to make some room for honorable mentions. So these 24 books are the books that I absolutely want to read, have to read. I will look back on this video and I will check off which books I read and which ones I did not. But after I finish these, here are a few more books that I would like to get in under the belt in 2024. All the Emily Henry books that I have, which includes Beach Read and Happy Place, And then I would like to finish the Off-Campus series. I read the first one. I have all of the other ones. Like I said, hockey romance girly here, but I have not read them. Any Ali Hazelwood books? I don't think I have any more that I haven't read. Actually, I think I have Theoretically You. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it, and I'm pretty sure that I have it. But other than that, no. And then any other Ali Hazelwood books that I may acquire throughout the year. Any Hannah Grace books that come out, if she releases any. I love Hannah Grace, love Ali Hazelwood, and Emily Henry. So the last two honorable mentions are two different series, and I'm not ready to read them yet. Like, but if I can somehow muster the courage and the strength to crack those books open in 2024, I will be so proud of myself. The first one is Grishaverse. I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy and the Six of Crows duology, but I have not yet read King of Scars or Rule of Wolves, because I can't bring myself to after the ending of Crooked Kingdom. I just can't. Maybe I will be able to figure that out later on in the year, talk to a therapist or something, but at this current moment, I still have nightmares about chapter 40. And the last one is the Inheritance Games series. So I read the first two books and I love them. I would say that they were my favorite. Like, the Inheritance Games might have been my top read for 2022. But I'm team Grayson, and I don't think she's gonna end up with Grayson. This is not a spoiler, I don't think, because I haven't read it, so I'm not. She could, and I just don't know, because I want to live blissfully in my ignorance. But I do not see her ending up with Grayson, and I prefer Grayson to Jameson as of right now. I might reread the first two books to see if maybe I've been too harsh on Jameson, and maybe I should give him a chance, but I'm not ready to do that. I feel very firm in my team Grayson, and I want to stay there. I don't want it to be ripped away from me. I like the possibility of what I don't know. Okay, so that concludes the 24 books I want to read in 2024, plus some of my honorable mentions. I have most of them, like, literally here with me on hand. So yeah, here's to reading a lot in 2024. So I really hope that in the new year I can complete my reading goal, which I think for 2024 I'm gonna set at 50. I set it at 50 for 2023, and I haven't done the calculations. I'm about to do them and then film everything I read in 2023 video, but I don't think I quite hit 50 books. This was a very busy year for me academically. Like, school took me out, and I did not really have as much time to read as I would have liked. But I hope that when I look back in a year on this video that I've at least read all 24 of these books and crossed them off of my TBR. Anyways, that's all for me. I have a bunch more book videos to film. But if you're seeing this, Happy New Year!